If you're watching this video, there's a good chance you are an American. And I've had so many great experiences with American followers and subscribers and patrons. The majority of Americans I've interacted with online have been great. I mean, in real life, my experience with Americans hasn't been so great. And there are some days I look at something happening in America and I'm just like, as a society, it's like irredeemable. Like we can't fix it. And you guys might be thinking about all the terrible shit going on right now, even going back to like America's founding as just like this terrible country, right? And that is all perfectly valid, and I think about that as well. But then there comes a story where I'm just like reading interviews with the people going to something, and I'm like, how do we fix this? And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about Elon Musk's new Tesla diner. And that might seem extreme, but is it? Now, might I show you people getting excited for the epic bacon at the Tesla diner? If you wanted to eat something that made you feel like you were on Reddit in 2014, the epic bacon, 4 strips of maple glazed black pepper bacon served with a choice of dip for $12. And if you're actually wondering what it looked like if you got it, then here it is. And sadly, I think because of the backlash, it has actually been taken off the menu. And I can actually confirm that because I was looking at the menu today. The epic bacon is no more. And conspiracy theory, what are the chances that Elon Musk saw these tweets going viral and personally told them to stop making the epic bacon? But yeah, today as like a bonus video for the week, because I've made 2 videos on like more serious topics, I want to talk about the Tesla diner in LA and just talk about like American consumerism. In that, are people forgetting the guy who owns Tesla and runs Tesla and the guy who has created this diner is an open white supremacist who helped gut the federal government for months and months and months, like actually was destroying the country, and then fell out with the president over how much money he would give him in subsidies, but he's still benefiting massively of your tax dollars for government contracts. And yes, he's an open white supremacist. Go on his Twitter feed any day of the week and see that. But then you just read some of the interviews of people queuing 5 hours for epic bacon, and you're like, it seems like that doesn't even fucking matter to people. It doesn't matter. I'm going to read you a little bit from someone who went there for The Guardian, and they're talking to people who brought their children, and their children really wanted to go to the Tesla diner to have epic bacon. How do you reform that? How do you reform 5-hour queues with grown adults taking their children to queue in the hot LA sun for epic bacon? So yeah, going to talk about all of this today. Support the channel on Patreon and YouTube memberships. Follow me on social media at the Kavernacle, on Blue Sky and on Instagram. And yeah, let's get into what this actually is. So if you guys were unaware and you haven't got to experience epic bacon, or you haven't been made aware that a lot of the milk and frozen goods served at the Tesla diner have just been left in the LA sun, along with the kids clamoring for epic bacon. So I went on the Tesla site. Tesla diner, eat, charge, watch, open 24/7. So apparently it has a 250 seat capacity and you can charge your Teslas here. So it has 80 supercharger stalls. And it describes itself a diner of the future located in Hollywood, California. Tesla Diner is a supercharging station, classic American diner and drive-in experience all wrapped up into one. With retro futuristic design influences, this location offers Tesla and non-Tesla drivers alike charging access along the historic Route 66 highway. And a big feature they say is that you can order directly from your Tesla's screen, has like movies playing all the time. And if we look at the menu, there's a Tesla burger, hot dog, tuna melt, grilled cheese, fried chicken sandwich, and then you have like some drinks. And not gonna lie, that iced nitro matcha looks pretty good. I would prefer it if they had a nice iced nitro matcha Labubu Dubai chocolate flavour. But anyway, it's meant to be some sort of like throwback to 1950s diners. Apparently they show films there like American Graffiti by George Lucas, which is about, you know, these kids driving up and down this street and going to this diner loads. So you can see the appeal, and to a lot of people, especially if you're not American, you watch all these TV shows, you see the diners and you're like, that looks pretty sick. So I can see some sort of novelty to it. And if it was just a random retro futurist diner in LA, I probably wouldn't really give a shit about it. It's the fact that it is run by Elon Musk. And I think it just shows more than anything that most people just don't fucking pay attention to the news at all. Not that I didn't know that already, but when you hear some of the quotes, it's pretty wild. So I'm just going to show you some TikTok showing you the inside and stuff. And the big gimmick is there is an Optimus robot who does popcorn. Now, you guys might have seen these robots and people think they're like real. I don't know if this is confirmed. I'm pretty sure it was, but obviously these robots are probably operated by someone close by, I'd imagine. And it doesn't really seem like it's doing a great job doing the popcorn, but again, you can see that people like it. They like the novelty, the gimmick of it. It's just kind of the rest of it I'm going to have a problem with. Cybertrucks, which this restaurant is themed after, is notorious for the software bricking the cars and just generally not working, right? So in the Tesla diner, there is segregation between Tesla drivers who park there and the general public who go there, because you can park your Tesla, order your food, and there's a separate line for you, right? And of course, what's happening to loads of people, they're trying to order from their cars and it's just not working.
Tesla Diner turned out to be one of the worst food experiences of my life. We didn't want to wait in the massive line out front, so we brought a Tesla, since it was advertised that you could order food straight from your car while plugged into a supercharger. The wait for a charger wasn't too bad, about 10 minutes. But once we plugged in, the food ordering feature in the Tesla app didn't work at all. A parking attendant told us this happens a lot and that unfortunately, we'd have to join the regular line. So we got in line, and after 15 minutes, it hadn't moved. A security guard casually mentioned that the line usually takes about 2 hours. Then we found out that Tesla owners actually don't need to wait in line. There's a separate entrance. We finally got in and placed our order, feeling lucky to have skipped the worst part. About 20 minutes later, we got a notification saying our food was ready, but it wasn't. That was a system glitch. We waited and waited. After an hour, we were still nowhere near being served, and the order numbers being called weren't even close to ours. The interior of the diner is cool, very sleek and futuristic, but the overall vibe was total chaos. Orders were late, food was coming out cold, staff seemed overwhelmed, and mistakes were constant. In the end, we gave up and asked for a refund without ever getting our food.
So that person obviously having a terrible experience, and, you know, I would give a restaurant some grace for having a hard opening weekend or a hard opening week, but it fits in with the Tesla brand that Elon Musk just rushes stuff, and specifically fits in with the Cybertruck brand, rushes stuff out, thinks it looks cool, tries to appeal to a certain demographic, and then doesn't actually focus on the basics, so it runs like shit. So that's the Cybertruck, and that's now this diner. But Americans flocking to this diner already is bad. But if you are bringing your child to this, you have failed as a parent. I'm really sorry. And I spoke about this in my Labubu video because we were looking at queues of like hours long for people to get Labubus and even viral Dubai chocolate, right? And I know it's hard for people, but you have to be the most NPC consumer to queue up for 5 hours for anything like that. Like, can you not just see in your brain that you can wait and you can just go in and probably get it without waiting any time in like a week or 2 weeks? I do not understand people who queue for stuff that is very disposable. If you're queuing for fast food that you don't even know if it's good from the Tesla diner, reevaluate your life. There are a million things you can do that are a better use of your time. And you also are likely not to miss out. So let's have a look at this one reviewer who brought their kid. They reviewed the food and everything, which is whatever. They said the food wasn't that good. Not surprising. But just like the queues. The queues. I hate this so bad. Let's listen to how long the queues were.
The rest of us mortals wrapped around the entire building. Bless my husband, he offered to stand in line while I took my son and cooled off in the shade. We were told it would be a 2-hour wait. My son, who's 6, mind you, begged to stay because he had to meet the Tesla robot Optimus. You guys, we waited 5 hours, made some line friends, shared stories, re-evaluated life decisions. We finally got to the door and they're like, this is just another line to get in. I was laughing in disbelief at this point, but this kid was a trooper. He did not give up. But hey, we made it at the end of the day.
Well, I'm not a parent. It's probably pretty obvious to people. Let me know, everyone, in the comments, if your 6-year-old asked you to queue for like an infinite amount of time because he wanted to meet the Tesla robot. Firstly, would you do that? And also, hopefully, you haven't allowed your kid to become obsessed with a company run by an actual Nazi. I'm just going to say, as someone who still has young cousins, like I have a cousin who is like 5 years old right now, right? And he gets really obsessed with stuff and he'll demand stuff, loads and loads and loads. And he might even throw a tantrum, and then you just like distract him, and then he becomes obsessed with something else. So I'm just like, I would not be waiting that long with my child. I'm sure they are good parents, but you shouldn't allow your kid to become obsessed with Elon Musk and Tesla stuff. But that seems to be a common thing, which I just can't believe. And that's why I'm thinking Americans are just doomed. Like, I don't even know if these people are political in any way. But it's like, here is a guy who's doing a Nazi salute at the inauguration, and you're just going to his new diner like it's no big deal. And no one can make the argument to me that you can divorce Tesla from Elon Musk. You just cannot do that. So Lois Beckett, for The Guardian, wrote their experience, and Elon Musk opened a diner in Hollywood. What could go wrong? I went to find out. And I just want to read a few little bits from this, mainly about the people she met there. But she says, after months of build-up and controversy, the diner had suddenly opened, and I didn't even know this, on Monday at 4:20 p.m. So if you were like the most hilarious Reddit moderator, you could go to a Tesla diner at 4:20 and order Le Epic Bacon. But that was for the grand opening. Less than 2 days later, when we visited for lunch, the Tesla diner experience was a less futuristic fantasy than a case study in how to fail with impunity. Many parts of the experience were breaking down, the food was mediocre, yet the fans were still cheerfully lining up to buy merch. The line to get into the diner on Wednesday morning was long, an employee told us, in part because of technical problems. The app that allowed Tesla drivers to order from their car was glitching, so the diner was prioritizing the Tesla owners who had come inside to order instead. This meant that non-Tesla owners in the walk-up line might need to wait as long as 2 to 3 hours before they got the food. And it just talks about various different issues with them like running out of food and stuff like that. So Josh Bates and his son Phoenix were in town for the day from Orange County, where they lived. We are big Musk fans. No child is a big Musk fan. I'm going to put that out there. No 10-year-old knows anything about Elon Musk to be a fan of Elon Musk. His dad has made him a Musk fan. If you teach your kid that Elon Musk is a good person and he's a fan of him, first of all, he's probably going to get bullied in school by everyone. Second of all, he'll either turn out to be a bad person or he'll just fucking hate you for making you like that stuff. Phoenix, age 10, has been excited to visit the diner. I've never seen Elon Musk open a restaurant, so I wanted to come here and see how the food is. Kid, what the fuck are you doing? What 10-year-old cares about Elon Musk opening a restaurant? This dad, I'm calling out Josh Bates. Well, after waiting in line for 20 minutes and not getting much closer to ordering, Bates decided it was time to find somewhere else for lunch. It's a grand opening, things happen. It is what it is. They're doing the best they can. So I'll give him some credit there. He didn't wait for 5 hours. So Bates wasn't the only Musk fan with this attitude. Ivan Daza, 36, who lived in LA, later told me he had waited 2 hours the day before, only to be told around 7 that the diner's kitchen was closed. He'd brought his 8-year-old daughter back the next day to try again. She had seen the diner on YouTube and was especially excited to see the robot, but it turned out the robot was not in operation. Daza said he was surprised by the various problems the kitchen seemed to be having. He thought they would have a plan B, but he was pleased the diner offered an experience. So recently I've made a lot of videos about like the inherent authoritarian nature of parents. I know this video isn't that deep, but I still think it's really, really terrible to make your 10-year-old child or your daughter like obsessed with Tesla and Elon Musk. It's just the craziest shit ever. But yeah, this is why I'm just like talking about this. I just find mindless consumerism so wild, and the fact that these people are rushing in, queuing up, despite everything Elon Musk has done to them, they still worship him. And it's like, it's not even just the open racism, which is totally bad enough. It's that he's actually destroying the US government and these programs that so many people rely on, and they still worship him. And that's what I'm saying. Tesla isn't facing mass protests anymore. This diner isn't facing protests. Because what? Because Elon Musk has left the government. No one gives a shit anymore, and they're going back to worshipping him. But increasingly, I'm having no hope for Americans. So I'm very sorry if I offended any of my American followers. You know, you've all been very nice to me for the most part, but I just increasingly see America as hopeless. And I'm just thinking, like, should we give up entirely on the whole country at this point? Like, is there any hope left? We're nearly there at the UK as well, by the way. Don't think I'm discounting us. If this Jeremy Corbyn party doesn't actually gain momentum, like, we're screwed as well. So we can leave Canada, the US, and the UK all behind in our pursuit of global socialism. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Nazi diner and everyone flocking to it. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.